Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm here to pitch you Life Trudges On Regardless. It's sort of an attempt to remind viewers of their own impending death and have them deal with that death anxiety through a noir sitcom.
Hi, my name is Julie, and I'm here to pitch a show called Mermaid Opera. It's following the story of this family of mermaids who are famous opera singers. But one of the daughters has a really rare mermaid disease, and she cannot sing, and so she is kind of outcast. She's the black sheep of the family.
Hi, Fred. So I'm just going to go ahead and start my pitch. Stop me if you have any questions. But basically, this show, so your main competitor right now is the Weather Channel, right? So if you just, yeah, so basically, I want to start a weather channel. We'll call it the Dew Point. And I talk about, the local forecast and the.
So this is a show called Love at First Fright, and it's a love story between Dracula and Frankenstein. They come from two different worlds, really. Frankenstein comes from a small village, isn't really liked by too many people around, and is honestly pretty afraid of fire. And Dracula, well, Dracula comes from Transylvania and lives in a castle, and so between Dracula's flight and Frankenstein's fear of fire, and they really just get into some crazy antics while trying to go on these really romantic dates. It just doesn't really ever seem to work out in their favor, though.
Hi, my name is Martha, and I am here today to present you my show, Halfway Down the Road. So, Halfway Down the Road stars a woman, Elizabeth, who lives in a cottage in the woods, and she has a man who comes and visits her, and they end up falling in love, as you do. And eventually, he, has to move, and they become pen pals, and he writes her a letter that he has moved halfway down the road. Now, there's only one road going down to her cottage where she lives, and it's been years and years since she's been out of her cottage. So she was born in the house, everything like that. So she decides one day to walk out of her house and go find the man who lives halfway down the road.
Okay, so this is called A Girl on the Move. And it's about a girl who is trying to find her way through life. And so she's, in her mom's house, and then she moves to her dad's house, and then she moves to her grandmother's house, and then she moves to college, where she obviously stays until, the terms end or whatever. And then she moves to her friend's house, and she moves back to her mom's house. And basically the story is just her trying to find her footing and her place in life. And that's why she's continually on the move until she finds where she's supposed to be. And she keeps being on the move until, spoiler alert, the end of the series. And that's where she finds her place and realizes that she's actually a travel guide. So she's supposed to be on the move, and her moving around continuously was her beginning the process of learning about each place. So as she lived in each place, she learned about the places. So then when she realized she was supposed to be a travel guide, then she was able to go back and be like, oh, this place is this name, and this is what they're known for, and these are some great places here, and their economy.
Okay, so my show is called Father Christian's Nightly Prayers. It stars me, Father Christian. So every night I start with a passage from the Bible that I think is particularly, timely for whatever's going on at the moment. And then I sort of go on to different sorts of prayers. And every night I have a special guest on. So some nights it's one of my fellow pastors from another church in the area, or it's, possibly a divine being. You never know which it'll be, and I really think those special guests.
Hi. So the show that I'm proposing is about animals who act like truffle pigs. So pigs who are in search of truffle mushrooms, but instead of being pigs, they're monkeys. So they're truffle searching monkeys. But the funny thing is that all of these monkeys, who are all friends, they're either allergic to mushrooms or they hate the taste of mushrooms.
Okay, it's called My name is Bird. It's called Trapeze Squid Man. And what happens is somebody splices squid DNA with a circus performer DNA, and he makes the best contortionist ever. But all the other circus performers are racist. They're like, you don't got no bones? This isn't even difficult for you, but the Squid Man just wants to perform. His heart's on the stage.
So she leaves her house and starts walking down the road. But the thing is, she has no idea how long the road is. So she keeps walking and walking and walking, and she never finds the house until then. She starts questioning herself. Sorry, thank you for the snacks. She starts questioning herself. And she says, am I ever going to find the house? Am I going to get to the road? How long is the road? Is the house even real?
Have you ever, felt lost in the world and just wanted to find your way? Well, this show is a message about that. It's
Met the love of my life at her husband's funeral. And things only got better from there. How can you do this? How can you live like this? I've never known anything what I've chosen for myself.
Hey, Doug, you ever feel like we're meant for more than sniffing out these truffle mushrooms? Well, obviously, Chad, I think that I should be living in the jungle. But you know what? They are truffle-sniffing monkeys.
And it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Now, thank you. That's from Revelation 13:13. Now, we're going to have a very special guest, Mr. Morningstar. He's a big fan of the show, and he's actually provided a bit of funding for it. And so he's going to speak a little bit about coming to the church and the importance of it. Thank you. He's a great friend of mine. Thank you, Lucy.
Thanks, Roger. What a great story. As you can see behind me, and as you can no doubt hear, we have Tropical Storm Samuel. It's very quiet right now, but I assure you you can hear it in person. And
Mom, I know I said I was gonna stay here forever, but I just feel like there's something more. Well, what do you mean there's something more? I've given you everything you wanted. I know, Mom, but it just doesn't feel complete anymore. There just feels like there's something out there calling me. I don't want you to go, but if you must, then I'll support you, I promise. You will, Mom? If you have to, then I have to support you in everything you do. I love you so much. Mom, I'm gonna miss you so much.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. Hey, I'm Paul. Hi, Paul. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. You lived here your whole life, huh? Yeah, I have. I've never left my quaint little cottage in the woods. That's neat. Hey, you maybe want to date or something? Oh my god, that would be amazing. I've never interacted with any other person. Cool. What's up, girlfriend? Oh my god, you're my boyfriend. Yeah. Pretty cool.
You'll never be like us. You'll never be like any of the human performers. We'll never love you. You're just jealous because I'm so much more flexible than you.
Why, hello there, Frankie. How are you doing tonight? Me have okay day. Oh, Frankie, do not worry. Here, I got us romantic candlelight dinner. Oh, me love good romance. Let me just light these candles. Okay, Frankie. Okay, we do not have to do that. Here comes the waiter now with our food. Yes, I have the garlic bread and pasta for the table. Oh no, it is garlic bread! Oh no, I cannot eat this! You...
Okay, no. Jezebel, please stop that and... No, okay. Look, listen, Jezebel, we're gonna have to kick you out of this operatic choir. But Dad, this is the family operatic choir. Why can't you're kicking me out? Yeah, because of your rare mermaid disease. You're an awful singer.
I knew one thing then. Loving her would be the death of me. Jimmy, you never listened to me. You've never shown me anything but pain. Pain's all I know. Pain's all that keeps me up at night. Pain's the only thing that brings me back to where I should be. Pain's not good enough for love. Pain isn't what makes love happen.
Are they gone? Okay, listen. We're in wartime. I don't know why the frick they need mushrooms at this time of war, but, you know, we're gonna fill the cannon with mushrooms as a revolution in and of itself, and we can kill all these people that don't need these mushrooms. That's a terrible idea, Chad. I think we should just eat mushrooms and get a tummy ache. I think that we should fill the cannon. It'll be a great idea, and then the cannon will explode itself.
You're sure you love me? Even though my legs do this? How can you love a monster like me? I would love you in any form you take.
Wow, these woods are beautiful. I can't believe I've never left my house before. All right, well, he said he's halfway down the road. It can't be too far. 10 minutes later. Oh, man, I'm getting kind of hungry. I wish I'd brought some snacks. I didn't realize it was going to be this far. 10 hours later. It's starting to get dark. A little concerning. I thought I'd be there by now. 10 hours after that. Oh my God, the sun is coming up. Halfway down the road. How far is halfway?
Thanks, Reggie, for that wonderful sports update. So, as you can see, Tropical Storm Samuel has been upgraded to Hurricane Samuel. And if you ask me, they should have named it Hurricane Sheila, like my ex-wife, because she was also loud and violent.
I thought I was doing the right thing moving around, but now that I'm here, it doesn't feel right either. Like,
there will be hellfire and brimstone for anyone who wants it. And God said, let there be light, and there is light everywhere and light in everyone. And if you continue to watch this show, maybe you will be filled with more light as well.
Dracula, me think we should take picture. Frankie, I have to be honest with you. I cannot appear in a photograph. Well, then, me draw us together.
Dad, I figured it out. I just have to sing through my gills. No, daughter. No. You never sing. No, wait, Dad. What?
Detective, you're not a boyfriend. You're barely even a man. Life squandering every moment that you've ever been given, everything you've ever given, and you've tilted right back, and everything you've taken.
Would you look at that, Chad? We blew up the entire army base. Take your hat off.
It's been 10 days. I feel like I should at least be halfway down the road now. I guess not.
Thanks again, Tom. Is that what I named you before? I can't remember. Anyways, eye of the thunder, hurricane, and as you can see,
Maybe I should just trapeze myself into the ocean. I'm a monster. No, I'm a monster too. You're a circus performer and I'm a squid, but I'm a tax man.
so I made it. I finally made it. The one place that makes me feel whole isn't even a single place. And oh wow, this feels right. It feels.
I'm gonna be real with you for a minute. My father once told me we came from nothing. We came from the dirt, and like the dirt, we would return to the dirt. But I made something of myself. I became a father, a preacher, and with some work and some help, you can too. Now,
Frankie, did you say a strange man in the driveway? Oh yeah, me talk him. He say he name Han Velsing.
The lack of fatherly love you've given me has led to my imminent and tragic death. Daughter, no!
Thus, love is a word that rules used to describe muffins and chocolate. When I got something stronger, when I got something bigger, shared cynicism.
Fortunately, there are no more mushrooms left in the fields due to the explosion of the space. Take over the earth and bring a new life and a new world.
I've been walking for 10 months now. Will I ever make it halfway down the road? Will I ever find my love? Was my love even real?
Thanks, Tom. As you can see, the hurricane has ended, and now there's a beautiful rainbow outside. Looks like a great day to play some volleyball. Back to you, Tom.
Love at First Fright.
Love at First Fright. Right, how can I forget Love at First Fright? I always just think of it as that great buddy show, right? That's how everybody remembers it. But it was never, that finished product from the very beginning. It went through a lot of developmental stages. So what we're going to see right now is some behind-the-scenes footage. We take you now to some very rare and precious behind-the-scenes footage, a shot from a security cam of that pilot episode of Love at First Fright.
Hello?
oh no. I am a bat, and I have stepped in between Dracula and Frankenstein.
Ah,
How dare you interrupt our date?
I was drawn to the candlelight. I'm so sorry.
I try to plan a lovely candlelit dinner for two, and you have to come in and interrupt it and ruin it.
I pay good money for steak dinner here.
I could serve you guys. It looks like the waiting staff is down tonight.
Yeah, you can bring us a nice bottle of that red wine, and by red wine I mean blood.
Oh,
Right away.
No, Frankie, there's been something I'm meaning to tell you.
you can tell me anything, Dracky.
Out of all of the thousands of years that I've been alive, I've never really felt anything until I met you. Until you stepped up behind me in the grocery store and gave me a bit of a fright. Well, what I'm trying to say is, oh my God, that damn bat is back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I interrupt you again?
Cut. Great. Okay, that was good. That was good. We had a lot of good things there. I appreciate you guys really going back to the roots of these monsters. You guys clearly did your reading. That being said, I think one of the things the author wanted for this is that he really wanted to, in that first episode, the first episode is supposed to be like a rom-com, you know, where we're supposed to have that sort of, we're supposed to get some of that awkward first date energy going and get that sort of, a little bit of that rom-com style comedy, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's try to play that up in this next iteration. You guys are doing great. I'm loving the flying. I'm loving the fangs. I'm loving the blood jokes. You believe it. Be in the moment. Listen to each other.
Hey, boss. Do you want us to kick in with the canned laughter on this bit?
Yeah. You know what? A little bit of canned laughter. Try not to overwhelm the sound, though.
All right, so we can have some of the people who aren't on camera here provide our laugh track, right? Yeah. All right.
You know, director. I don't want to mess with your image at all, but I don't know if I'm really feeling the role of Frankenstein. I was wondering, what if we brought in a different monster? Maybe what if I played Mothman?
You know, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Why don't you try it for this take? We may have to change it in the next one.
Sure thing.
Okay, and action.
Oh. Oh. Sorry,
man,
you know how the candlelight makes me get.
Hello, we're short-staffed, so I'm your waiter for this evening. Can I bring you anything?
Well,
do you have any flies on the menu?
Yeah.
I can go fly away and find some for you.
You know.
Well, you know, Mr. Man, Miss Mothman.
You can call me Moth.
I really just feel like ever since you showed up on my front porch the other evening, because my porch light, you know how porches have lights, I've never really felt anything until that moment. And I want you to know that this is really the best date I've ever had.
But your flies.
Oh, thank you. Dracula, I want you to know that when I'm with you, you make my heart flutter.
Really a lot of great work going in there. I'm loving some of the rom-com elements. Here's the thing. We've been doing some testing. We want to appeal to a younger audience. So we're going to try to go for some of that teenage soap opera drama, like think Vampire Diaries, Twilight, that sort of place. James, loving the fact that you're working with the script. Mothman was an interesting choice, and I'm glad we tried it. I think it's a step in the wrong direction, though. I think we might want to pull on some Teen Wolf here. I think you know where I'm going. Yeah, please. So again, that's I think we can probably not have the canned laugh track for the sort of Twilight-esque drama here.
Okay, boss.
You guys got all that? All right. And action.
You work for that man, the Batman, who you're trying to take over our city and ruin our love.
I am Batgirl, that's right. But right now, all I'm trying to do is make it in the city, you know? I was wondering, ever since I was bit by that bat and turned into Batgirl, I've never had anyone to connect with, and you guys are my friends.
Okay. Well, since you're working here now, would you mind getting me an extra rare steak?
Of course. I know where all the extra rare steaks are.
You know, Dracula?
How do we know we can trust her?
I don't know that we can. I just needed to get her out of our hair for a second.
What's the secret plan? I don't want to lose you.
I don't want to lose you either. Okay, we need to figure out. There's so many problems. We need to figure out how we can be together, because if I bite you, you'll die. But if this bat gets in our way...
I worry that Batman will try to use Batgirl against us to make you bite me so that I die and you lose the love of your life.
That's exactly what I'm worried about, too. I can't live without you, Dracula.
It might be a sacrifice we have to make for the sake of the town.
I have your extra rare steak.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I don't know if I can eat this without any steak sauce. Can you go and get me some steak sauce?
Of course.
Hey, cut. All right. I've been thinking. I think teenager was a step in the right direction, but we need to go younger. For this last one, I think we could do. I think it'd be interesting to play with some Sesame Street elements, really go kids show in this. I think I might want you to try to step back into that Frankenstein world, James.
Okay.
And given that we have the studio audience in, if you can go ahead and feed them some lines for them call and response, you know how kids shows are like to, like Dora. That way we can make him show them it's real in life. And of course, studio audience, if they give you a clear place to jump in and say some stuff, feel free to come back and respond. So once more, we're doing a children's show. We're back to Frankenstein, and see if you can give the audience some clear call and response cues. Is that all clear?
Yeah, Director, I just have one more question. I think I might have gotten a little confused. Is Jennifer still playing the role of Dracula, or is this...
That is absolutely right. Jennifer is still Dracula. I know that's sort of getting a little buried in some of these rewrites, but make sure you're coming back to that element.
Gotcha.
Right? Are we all ready? And action.
Oh, Dracula, I'm really enjoying this date. I just wonder, should I, A, try to kiss you, B, ask you how your evening is going, or C, slap you? Come on, audience.
Kiss her.
Ask her how her evening is going.
Well, I think I need to kiss you, Dracula.
Hi,
Oh,
kids.
come on.
I'm a bat, B for bat, and I'll be your waitress this evening because this is a kids show and we can't have kissing in a kids show. What would you like to eat? A, human flesh, B, a steak, or C, grass?
See, grass. I want grass. I want grass. See.
Grass.
See.
Grass.
See, let's go vegan.
More grass.
I'll have the bloody steak. But
Every time.
An extra side of blood. Because I'm a vampire. Remember, kids, B is for vampire.
I'll go get that started for you.
Remember, kids, if you're ever eating a bloody steak, make sure that the edge has been sauteed thoroughly in order to kill any bacteria.
You know what, Frankie? You're one of the best friends I've ever had.
I really like you too, Dracula. In fact, you make one of my organs flutter. Is it my heart, my kidney, or my bladder?
Bladder. It's the
Bladder.
It's
Heart,
Kidney.
bladder.
It is heart.
That's
My
right.
dad doesn't
You
have
make
kidneys,
my
he has
heart
bladder.
flutter.
For fluttering, I'm back with the extra bloody steak. Remember, kids, if you become a waitress one day, you need to be fast on the service.
And don't forget, kids, always tip your waitress.
All right, that's a wrap. I think we can head to print.
In fact, and who can possibly forget that one scene between Dracula and Frankenstein that became the talk of the water cooler, in which everybody was absolutely engrossed with these two particular performers that absolutely called everybody's attention. This is the scene everybody remembers from the show. between Dracula and Frankenstein.
Frank.
Yes, Draki.
Frank, it's been a month into our relationship, and well, there is something I want to show you.
What show me you give, Draki?
Well, you know I have the castle on the hill. And
Yes, me know.
you know that I want you to feel welcome there, and I got some extra keys made, if you would like.
Extra key for me?
For who else?
Me excited. Me want to go do fun thing. Let Draki, let us go burn down village.
I would like that. I would like that very much.
Who can forget that famous scene? I would like that. We burn down village. I would like that. I would like that very much. That scene absolutely catapulted the show to a status of fame that caught the attention of the critical community. And in fact, we have some footage right now from some of the reactions from Peanut and Gallery, of course, those famed critics. Peanut and Gallery are going to give us just some brief comments on what they see as the lasting value and enduring, qualities of the show, in, of course, their usual argumentative style. Let's get some of that conversation.
Well,
Hey, Gallery. Something I really appreciate from Love at First Fright. I kind of only watched bits and pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it really represents the monster inside of all of us.
Oh. I actually feel compelled to disagree, because I think if you actually watch towards the end of the movie and you see that you can tell that there was a lot of inspiration, that they used a lot of the Zerfumversificht effect, which is, of course, a German term. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and can I get a concept check on what that German concept, that what you just said, what does that mean?
Well, it sounds a lot like the Verfremdens effect, but I'm not talking about that one, actually. A lot of people would be confused by that. No, I'm actually talking about a different term coined by a different playwright, and it actually means that the movie is actually trying to tell you something that is the opposite of what it appears that it's telling you.
See, I find it hard to agree with what you're saying, as you have now referred to this TV show as both a movie and a play, saying that it had a playwright. And so I'm going to have to disagree with you entirely. I think... Well,
Peanut, I think you're deliberately picking straws here now, because you know that I was talking about the term that was coined by a playwright, right? Not the show itself, which obviously I know wasn't written by a playwright.
Look, I think now you're the one picking straws. You're, how do they say, finding a needle in a haystack in this argument, and you're failing to look at the bigger picture of the show about, like I said, the monsters inside of us, and learning to love the monsters inside of you, even if it's scary.
And thank you, Peanut and Gallery. As always, Peanut and Gallery are always telling us more about themselves than they are about the show that they're talking about, but I particularly enjoy their insights.
You know what? I kind of liked it more before they changed it into the kids' version. It's kind of like Bert and Ernie. They're gay, but then no one ever wants to admit to it. And I feel like they deserve that closure for their relationship, because I just feel like it's very unfair that they have to hide their true selves, because they wanted to make it kid appropriate. Like, okay, and so they can go see these straight people basically have sex on the TV, but two homosexual friends can't be homosexual publicly? No, it's not fair, and I don't agree.
I thought it was funny when Dracula, he turned into a bat and he flew.
Unpopular opinion, but I watched all 3 seasons really closely, multiple times. I've watched them all like 100 times basically, and it's just crazy that the bat is actually my favorite character. I know that's like so out there and so quirky, but the little bat waiter was just so adorable. It had so much character development.
Now, as a Christian mother, I just cannot in good conscience let my children watch anything that has that many vampires in it. Vampires are so opposed to the Christian way, and frankly, I don't see any metaphors in this media.
As someone who is also allergic to garlic, I really appreciated that representation in there with Frankenstein and the garlic bread. I think me and my whole family, we've had to steer away from garlic our whole lives, so that's really made me feel better.
There was the part where Frankenstein stood there and he was standing there and he said, but he had the bolts in his head. And I was like, how did those get there? Because that's kind of funny looking.
I think that we should clarify that it's Frankenstein's monster and not actually Frankenstein, because these TV shows and these movies are completely ruining Mary Shelley's masterpiece, and I'm upset by it.
I like the part where Frankenstein screamed at fire.
How could you possibly forget one of those glory moments for this particular series, that heartwarming holiday episode? That heartwarming holiday episode, which was a crossover between Love at First Fright and Mermaid Opera. Was it Mermaid Opera? Was that what the name of the show was? Was Mermaid Opera? Right. Yeah, that heartwarming crossover between Mermaid Opera for that holiday special celebrating spring and all things spring.
Oh, Dracula brother, I cannot hear you from across castle.
Oh, thank you, Brother Dracula. I was trying to throw my voice and as a party trick, and it was not working. Thank you all for coming to my holiday party.
Yes, it is so good we can come together as family on special holiday May Day.
The best friend is here. Our mermaid cousins are here. And look, my husband, Frankenstein. Frankenstein, I can't hear you.
Room at table for one more person?
Always, my husband.
Is it okay if I can get out of the moat now?
Of course. Please come inside. We have special baby pool just for you.
Yay!
You know, I'm thinking about it right now, and I just got used to the Frankenstein guy, but these mermaids are kind of creeping me out.
Hey, they are our cousins. We cannot say that. Cousins!
We are mermaids.
Well,
We are
it is just
dangerous kind that steal the sailors.
Come here, come into my pool. Come on into my pool. Come on.
I don't think that is a very good idea. Bats cannot swim very
Come
well.
on into my pool. Come
Hey,
hang out with me.
Hey, mermaid opera cousins. Mermaid opera cousins. Listen. We invited you here to do performance for our holiday party. Will you
Yes.
do us opera?
And we can do the performance so much better if you come hang out with us in this pool that we
okay, but
promise we won't
Maybe
drown you in.
I go over to see what opera is about.
Maybe we watch from side of the moat. And by the way, thank you, cousins, for providing O negative blood. You know that is the only type that I can drink, so thank you.
Maybe we watch opera performance, and if it is good, we come swim with you.
Okay, here's the opera performance.
Ready? 5, 7, 8. Woo! Oh, Christmas time, being happy. Oh, take it away, sis.
And of course, everybody remembers that episode because that song was on the top 40 charts for weeks and became, of course, that holiday perennial favorite. The thing that lingers in many people's minds is how the series ended. After all, it was a cliffhanger because it ended quite so suddenly. And in that final scene, and yeah, I think the scene is between Dracula and Frankenstein, so many things were said that seemed to be, they could be so potentially misinterpreted. we end up with a cliffhanger that, of course, is leading us on into emotional action, but it leaves so many unanswered questions in terms of what was really happening and what were they really saying to each other in that moment. Here's that scene.
I lie here on this hospital bed.
Me reach out and hold hand.
A hand is all.
Me did not know Hen Velsen was bad guy. If thing be different now, Draki, me would have taken steak.
Love is never someone to introduce in a new relationship.
Draki, me be honest, me cannot hear you too well over hospital machine.
Hospital machines are very loud, as I was saying, and the ex-lover is never somebody who to introduce to your new flame. Oh, I'm sorry, I did said the word flame describing you. It may have been a poor choice of words.
Me no like flame. Me, where flame, Draki?
Frank.
Me no see flame.
Frank. I'm sorry to say that I am dying.
Maybe me donate blood, but wait, me no have blood. Draki, me will always remember good time and not scary fire time.
There's always another chance, Frank.
Draki, what if me shock you like when me come back life?
I don't know. I need to speak up. I'm sorry. This death is making me very quiet.
Yes, what if me shock you like when me come back life? You remember, I tell you I sit table, and Frankenstein put, not me Frankenstein, but Frankenstein because I Frankenstein monster. Frankenstein put clamp on me, and me go zap, and me alive again.
Frank, it is already too late, but it can't hurt to try.
Me? Okay. Me take defibrillator. Me plug to ceiling or lightning. Fire! Fire!
And that was the end of Love at First Fright. We don't know what happened after that, and we probably never will.
So I'm only 15, so I wasn't alive when the show was really running, but my mom was a huge fan, and she instilled in me how important it was for people around that time and even today to realize that not everything was what it seemed, and that historical figures or whatever, we only saw one side of them because that's what the history people told us, but you never know, they might have been gay. So it was really great that they put that into the show, and as a younger person growing up now, I think that it really influenced how accepting we are in our society to accept people
Love
no
at
matter
First Sight? Oh yeah, that show just really awoken some things in me. I think I owe Love at First Sight to the reason why I have a vampire fetish now, for better or for worse. It was revolutionary in other ways too.
Being cast as the Bat was really a life-changing moment for me because I had trouble getting roles before, but when they said you're cast as the waitress Bat, that just changed everything for me. Now people come up to me on the streets and ask me for my autograph, and that just really means the world to me. Having younger people look up to me and just be like, when
Hi, I was Dracula in season 1, and you may remember me from the if you watched the behind the scenes episodes where I was brutally fired. That experience really just opened me up as a person and really showed me that I needed to stop being an asshole.
I think that I really enjoyed playing the mermaid in the scene. However, I am really kind of upset that they didn't cut out the scene where I really did start drowning. And I'm really sad that I became an internet meme because now that's all kids know me for.
The thing is, network standards at the time meant that we couldn't have the two romantic leads kiss on screen. You'll actually notice throughout the first couple of seasons, we always just fade to black when, ever they get close to one another. It's really unfortunate.
Oh man, Love at First Fright that's a throwback. That was the first job I ever had, and man, honestly, it was horrible. They gave me almost no direction. They had me changing characters all the time. I don't know how to do a Frankenstein voice.
When my father wrote Love at First Fright, my father, executive producer, he really tried to do something that was challenging for the time. He wanted to, include these messages that I think people might not have picked up on then, but definitely looking back would have seen kind of behind the scenes and between the lines. And I really look to that, his last piece of work, as something that inspires me to this day.
When I first saw Love at First Fright, I think that was the very first time that I felt actual physical fear. Not when I was being birthed from my mother's womb, or murdered, or when my cat choked on a toothpick, or when I ate ketchup, or when I stepped on my glasses and I got glass all the way through my...
Now, I've always been really insecure of my incredibly overgrown and sharp canine teeth, and seeing the representation of vampires just really opened a whole new door for me. It really made me feel seen and validated on TV, and when I was a kid and my friends would ask, "Are you a vampire?" I would just say, "Yes."
Watching that show made me realize that I'm gay.
People talk all the time about the gay metaphor in Love at First Fright, but the thing that they don't realize is that Dracula's actually supposed to be a recovering bloodaholic. It's honestly a really heartwarming tale if you scratch just a little bit farther underneath the surface.
Yeah, I really kind of hated Love at First Fright the first time I watched it, because I just didn't think vampires were real, and so that wasn't really anything that I could get into. Because I would go outside and I'd see a bat and I'd say change, and then the bat wouldn't change. And so just this loss of reality in the show is something that really took me out of it. And I think it's kind of disgusting that it got put on air.
So I didn't like Love at First Fright. It was really boring. There were other shows at the time like, Twilight. Well, that was a movie, but Vampire Diaries, things like that just really, that entertained, But Love at First Fright, this was really lackluster in many
Yes, well, as an actual vampire, I actually found the show extremely insensitive and frankly just intolerable. The way that they have a vampire falling in love with a wolf, what are they trying to push on us? Are they saying that all vampires like to fuck animals? It's ridiculous, or dead people for that matter. What is that?
And so we can see that the show today is still very much as controversial as it once was. It still excites passions and alarm in the hearts of people. It still brings fright to that loving feeling, Love at First Fright. So if you'll indulge me, Troop, I'd like to see the trailer for the reboot. All of you, please provide for me, screen style, the trailer for the reboot of Love at First Fright.
In a world where love bleeds.
I feel so lost walking around, and I do not have anybody to love because I am just a lonely vampire in this world. I might be gay.
Monsters finally learn how to match.
My
I wonder-
heart no beat, but not mean I no feel love and sadness.
I wonder if a raw steak is really worth it at this point. Like, couldn't I just go vegan? How would it work? I'm a vampire. I need more.
In addition to exploring the scariness of finding love, Dracula also explores the terrifying aspects of parenthood.
One last time, I want to give one final shout out to Dan Pusel for his extraordinary work behind the scenes. Thank you so much, Dan. And a thank you in advance for John McGinn. 13 fingers on that extraordinary keyboard. My name is Kirk Everest. I am the coach and director for the Austin College Improv Troupe, and we are
Olivia!
Collier!
Shannon.
Nick.